It's the day after, boy, what was a terrible night for the Oklahoma City Thunder. I'm not sure how to describe that. We're going to work on that.
It's going to be a somber edition of Crashing the Boards.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
it was not good.
It was not good. 124 to 92. It was not as close as the score would indicate.
No, that score's kind.
That score is kind of what the Thunder did. So let's just start with this. How in the world do you describe what happened last night at the AT&T Center at the hands of the San Antonio Spurs?
Well, I'm using a red marker for a reason.
Think that's a good idea.
There was a bloodbath that occurred.
Yeah.
And the word I'm going with is deja disaster, not deja vu, because I don't know if you know about this, Brian. We've seen this time and time again. They've lost 6 of their past 7 playoff games in San Antonio.
Yep.
Most of them by blowout fashion. 4 of them, the last 4, in fact, by more than 20 points. So this was nothing new. I was going to say deja vu, but this was just completely off the rails, total disaster, way worse than in years past. I still can't believe how bad it was. I felt bad for the Thunder at certain points in the game. It got that bad.
It got that bad. You know, I'm sitting there watching the game, and I'm thinking to myself, if I would have given myself a scenario before the game, what is the worst case scenario you could imagine? This was far worse than I would have ever said. It was apocalyptic.
Yeah.
And it was thorough. It was start to finish. And the Thunder ought to be embarrassed. They didn't say that after the game. They said this is kind of the one-game deal, and you got to win 4 to win the series. They didn't feel embarrassed, but they should be embarrassed the way they played and got waxed by the Spurs.
It was a complete no-show, which to me is the most shocking thing. The game was over after about 4 minutes, which the Thunder had time to prepare for this game. They didn't look prepared. They didn't look ready to play. It was just a total disaster.
What's happened to Kevin Durant? I think we need to talk about this because not that long ago, Kevin Durant was the MVP of the league. He was potentially the best player in the league. And through now 6 games in the playoffs, Kevin Durant has been mediocre. What's going on?
He definitely hasn't been Kevin Durant.
No.
And I used to put Kawhi Leonard below him. You brought it up earlier. I think that you can make a case that Kawhi Leonard's a better NBA basketball player than Kevin Durant. And for the first time ever, I'm using a word I used last week. First time I've ever done the same word twice.
All right.
I'm still searching. The old show, Star Search?
Yeah.
The old Kevin Durant has not been back in a long, long time. And you can talk about free agency, where he wants to go to win. He's not going to win anything unless he turns back into Kevin Durant. He has not been the MVP. Russell Westbrook's been the best player on the Thunder this season. That trend has continued in the playoffs. And Kevin didn't even get to 20 points last night. That hasn't happened in a long time.
Well, not true. It's actually happened 2 of the last 3 games.
Oh, yeah.
2 of the last 3 games, Kevin Durant has 19 and 16 points. I wonder if Kevin Durant's feeling free agent pressure. I think you watched a guy last night. He can sort of feel his moment. And I'm not saying time in Oklahoma City up or anything like that. But all the questions that he's been asked the entire season, free agency, what are you going to do next year? What's going to happen in the playoffs? Am I going to leave if the Thunder don't win it? Here we are. I think he's feeling the pressure. And right now he's crumbling under it. Because you're right. Kevin Durant isn't Kevin Durant. And sometimes it's just as simple as the best player on the floor, his team wins the game. Kevin Durant's so far away right now from being the best player on the floor, it's frightening. And unless he turns back into Kevin Durant, the Thunder have 0 chance to win the series.
And the most startling part for me was how disengaged he was. Once the game started to get out of hand, he just quit taking shots, didn't take over, didn't even make an attempt to dominate like he usually does.
So I guess we'll leave with this. We asked this question after 1 game in the Dallas Mavericks series. Is this series over? We both said yes. I'll ask you now.
Game 2 happened.
Then game 2 happened. I'll ask you this. Is this series over?
It's not over because we've seen this before. They lost the first 2 games of the year they went to the finals in San Antonio.
Yeah.
They've lost 6 of 7. They get blown out in San Antonio all the time. They can go back home and win, but that would just be delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
They're not as good as the Spurs. We knew that going into the series, and the Spurs put an exclamation point on that fact. Spurs won 67 games for a reason. They completely outclassed the Thunder. I don't see that stopping. Thunder might get a few games in Oklahoma City to draw out the inevitable.
Thunder are going to have to win at least 1 game in San Antonio. The Spurs are 44-1 now at home.
Decent.
This season. That counts the playoff games. I think you're probably right, delaying the inevitable. Is the series over? No, it's just 1 game. You're right. But can the Thunder make this a series? Well, it depends. Is the Reaper going to show up or not? And I think it boils down to that. I looked at the stat sheet last night. They only had 10 turnovers. But you look at Kevin Durant, 16 points. Is the Reaper going to show up or not? And if the answer is no, Thunder might get swept.
I would agree with that statement, but you're right. Kevin Durant, the spotlight is on him, not just free agency, but can he become the MVP caliber player we saw for years here in Oklahoma City?
Don't have to wait long.
Yeah.
Monday night, he'll get his opportunity.